please stand for the pledge? If you could take notice of the exits behind you, and there's one to our right up here. If you have an electronic device, please put it on vibrate. Kathy, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Councilman Cypress? Here. Councilman Larka?
Here.
Councilwoman Lewis?
Here.
Councilman Mazzata?
Here.
Supervisor Durante?
Here. I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session with no action taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to start the meeting off fun again. Hopefully, I'll be able to get through this without being emotional. This is a pretty big week for some of our high schoolers and some of our parents, too. So what I'm going to do tonight, we're going to talk about two students from Brewster High School and 3 other students. There's only 2 here. One just got here, right? All right. So I put a little something together here. I've been going over this in my head for a few weeks since I'm the lucky one and in this position to have the opportunity to present to you all. I was privileged enough to hear both of your speeches at the graduation and the scholarship night. And I'm also very grateful to have the opportunity to watch you other girls play flag football. So this is what I came up with. Sometimes my kids and my niece say, "Oh, here comes the daddy life lesson." So here it is. I hope for them they are lessons, because things I try to talk to them about are experiences I've had before, and I want to ensure that they don't need to go through some of the battles that I had to go through. You've probably had so much advice in the past couple of weeks that I feel it would be kind of mute at this point to talk about those things. So being who I am, though, I can't let this moment go without expressing my thoughts. So I thought I should talk about something else. And for me, what comes to mind is Brewster. Even though it's Southeast, in my heart and in my mind, I'll never be able to get away from the word Brewster. The first thing I'll say is, take a deep breath, slow it all down in your heart and your mind, and take this time of your life to let it in. It's such a great moment in your life and in your time. You want to be sure that you get it into your soul and you don't forget it. Brewster's not a paradise, nor is it a life filled with travels and material wealth. What makes it a grand life is the people. Because of us and the bond of love we all share, it's grand. And indeed, society may be off the rails right now. As you move forward, though, always remain mindful of your choices to safeguard yourself. No matter what anyone tells you, you always have a choice. It's your life. In times when you may not be here, remember to keep Brewster in your hearts, your long life friends, your educators, your coaches, and even your opponents, as they bring out the best in all of us sometimes too. They push us the hardest, even though we may not realize it at the time. And most importantly, your families who love you unconditionally. I without a doubt can say Southeast Brewster is proud of all of you, and extremely lucky to have had you here, even if it's just for this moment. Wherever your feet take you, remain true to yourself and be the Brewster strong bear that you are. Right? So we have some certificates for you. When I talk about you and call you up here, if you could come on up and just grab your certificate. So I tried to write something so that it was individual for all, but I got a little carried away, and that was my opening thing. So what I'd like to do is, this person has been referred to by her teachers as a powerful combination of intelligence and genuine kindness. She's on the dance team. She's a National Honor Society student. She's a 7-year honor roll student. 7 years, that's fantastic. She's part of the Mu Alpha Theta, which is a National Mathematics Honor Society. She's the founding member of the National English Honor Society. She's earned the Seal of Civic Readiness. This one I had to Google. It's a special designation on a New York State high school diploma, awards to the student who demonstrates a high level of proficiency in civic knowledge, skills, mindsets, and experience. So that maybe you'll come and take my job, right? When you come back.
Don't do it.
Don't. There's way more. I'm not gonna keep going down the road. I'll just end it with 102.1 GPA. That is just amazing. She'll be attending Misericordia University, and she was the valedictoria. Anna Casado, could you come on up? Thank you, Anna.
Congratulations.
Our next person had 13 AP classes. I didn't even know what AP classes were when I was in high school. She's also a 7-year Honor Society student. She volunteers at her church. She tutors underclassmen. She worked with Students Against Cancer, 10 other clubs and community services, and most importantly, works for Southeast Recreation. Hoorah. She's got 5 brothers. What a nightmare that must have been. I only had 1, and that was a struggle. I read her counselor recommendation report, and I was blown away. I actually had to take an Advil after I read it. There's a lot going on there, and she's going to attend Cornell University. So Michelle DeCarlo, can you come on up? Okay, so now I'd like to move on to our other 3 young ladies. One isn't here tonight. We tried to get her here, she just couldn't make it. I actually have a little something I'll show you, but let me read my spiel first. These 3 young ladies have been playing on the Brewster Flag football team from day 1 of the 4 years the program's been in existence. And it's going to be a tough job to supersede what they have done in these 4 short years. Not dismissing the remaining teammates who also did great things. There's a special reason that these 3 girls are here tonight. Just a few team stats first. 2 undefeated seasons. First year of the program, 2022, they were 11-0. And this year, they were 16-0. Truly incredible. All 4 years, they were league champions. They were section champions twice. They were regional champions once. And they made it to the state semifinals. And like I said last year, it's kind of tough to beat the Russian national team at the high school level, but you girls did a great job. Over the 4 years, they were 65-2-2. They were invited to Giant Stadium twice, made Brewster real proud again. All 3 of these young ladies have been all league all 4 years. All 3 received all section honors this year, while Sandra and Ava were all section last year also. Ava was also voted all section player for 2 consecutive seasons, 2024 and 2025. All 3 of these young ladies were scholar athletes, a truly remarkable achievement. All 3 are on the honor roll this year. I missed something. How did I miss it? Oh, I have to go back. Ava Fagan was all-section player 2 consecutive years, and I say she must have got that from her uncle. Which leads me into my next thing.
You missed your punchline.
Yes, I did. But there's another one coming. Ava Fagan has also been on the honor roll for 7 years in a row. Definitely not from her own. So the reason I referred to having all these girls here tonight is because Brewster High School has retired all 3 of their jerseys to solidify their legacy with Brewster High School flag football. So here they are, their coach, and their jerseys. So before I bring them up, I know that this is very unorthodox, but I believe a lot of people who know me are going to be like, no, not really, it's you. So this is a play from their final game this season. Ava Fagan's the quarterback, and the girl who catches the ball is Avery Dodonis. This was her first year playing flag football. And part of the reason I'm showing you is because of what Avery does on the slow motion that you'll see. So I'll let it play, and I'll just kind of talk when I want you to know.
And it is caught with a play.
So watch in slow motion when Avery goes out of the screen.
Over a defender and somehow diving grab it and somehow stays on her feet when the quarterback gave a fake, comes and shoulders her.
So watch Avery's hand right here. She's like, I'm open.
Downfield, ball in the air. Watch this. She goes up, high points it.
I have personally never seen a catch that good.
Hangs on.
So I figured I'd share that.
Steps forward.
So with that, Sandra Estrada, could you come on up and grab your little... You're welcome. Ava Fagan, can you come on up? And Kylie Brooks is the other girl who wasn't able to make it tonight. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to take a 5-minute recess. We can let everybody split.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I guess now I have to be an adult.
We have to come out of recess and then open?
I did.
He just said.
Oh, I only heard the 1 second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, excuse me. I'd like to make a motion to open a public hearing for special permit for DeBonis Southeast Duncan, 617 Route 22.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I believe we have someone from DeBonis to talk to us a little bit. Just let us know who you are. And
Sure. Is this on?
it's on.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm Karen Lobruto. I'm a senior planner with Labella Associates. I'm here representing DeBonis Brewster LLC in their application for a special use permit from the town board for a fast food establishment, which is a Dunkin' Donuts, approximately 2,000 square feet at the corner of Route 22 and Route 312. There are proposed 23 parking spaces, including 5 employee spaces. There's a 10 queuing drive-through that's included in the property. There's a right-in and right-out access way off Route 22. The applicant recently received, well, a little bit less recently received their negative declaration, meaning that there are no significant adverse impacts under seeker from the planning board. I think that was in January. And then they've received recently in May the area variance from the zoning board of, your standards of appeals board for an encroachment into the residential setback from the adjoining residential district to the south of the property. And they worked with the planning board, in particular Lynn
Eckhart.
Eckhart, yes, thank you, to meet with the neighbors to increase the landscaping for the property. They added additional evergreen trees. There will be evergreen and deciduous trees 8 feet at installation, and the site, I'm sure you're aware of it by now, has a kind of, it's nestled into the topography there, which raises into about ranging from 2.5 to 8 foot berm on the west side of the property. And then from there, the topography raises as you head towards the residential area. So we have the drive-through. We feel that because of the orientation and the difference in grade, that there won't be an adverse impact from headlights. As it pertains to the intercom, it's directed towards Route 312. Noise is line of sight, so if it's going that way and the residences are that way, it will greatly decrease the effect of the noise relative to that. There are, I think, 5 light poles. They're dark sky compliant, and there are 4 wall-mounted lights, also dark sky compliant, which means essentially that it's restricting the glare, and they're downlit so as to not create transfer of light across the property line. That's it.
I actually have 2 questions.
Sure.
The right-in, right-out, are there 2 separate spots, or is it one opening?
So it's one opening
It
with
is.
a right-in, or sorry, a right-in and a
And
right-out.
yeah.
Yep.
And my other question is, are the hours established yet?
That I would have to speak with Bill about. Bill, the hours of operation?
10 o'clock to 11 o'clock on the weekends.
Anyone have any questions?
And if that's a concern of yours, that can be part of the special permit.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that, but I don't think that's a late situation.
Is that the only entrance, or is there also access on the 312 side?
Nope, that's the only entrance. Mhm.
There was talk of potentially donating a portion of the corner of the land to the state to widen that intersection. I know that it was cost prohibitive because you have to reconstruct the intersection. Down the road, if the state were to come, is it possible to be able to carve some of that portion of the property to make a right-hand turn lane?
So there is included a DOT taking on Route 312. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that was established in the preceding years, and that will still take place. There's, as part of this project, signal improvements along Route 312, which will assist in overall traffic conditions. The project itself is not substantially contributing traffic to the intersection, and is below what was forecast in 2019 as part of the earlier iteration of this project. But
Yeah.
yes, the taking's still in place.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't concerned about the traffic for this project, but that land can be carved out.
Right,
Okay.
you're not gonna develop part of that will prohibit the
That's
DOT
correct.
from
That,
someone
yeah,
using it.
and,
Yeah.
just look at this. So, you see this crosshatch area here?
Mhm.
This is the taking area.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, we dream big, and we'd hope that they'd come in and put a 3rd lane going on to 22, but who knows? Anything else, guys?
No.
So if there's anyone from the public here that would like to speak, you can please come on up, let us know who you are. No? Okay, so at this point, we have no other questions. And basically, we just,
Well, this is a public hearing, so we'll close the public
Yeah,
hearing,
yeah,
5-day writing period, then we'll go
that's it,
back.
yeah. Okay, so I'll make the motion to close the public hearing with a 5-day write-in period.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
I
you very
appreciate
much.
it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Don't forget your beautiful rendition of our next Dunkin' Donuts.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Bill. Okay, so we can go right into our work session. We're going to talk about the Millennium contract. Luckily, Kathy Trudina pays attention to the things I do, and the Millennium contract is coming up real soon. So what I did was I reached out to Dave Jenkins, who is our contact with Millennium, and the contract we signed was for a year at a $5,000 the retainer for the year, plus anytime we went for a grant, there was a percentage drawn up for each particular grant. So that is one way we can go again. The other way is, they call that the flex grant service. The other way is a full grant service. Basically, to get to the point, that's $3,300 a month. The difference is they do everything. They research, they try to find out what we need. They will tell us what they think would work. So when I was reading this today, I kind of feel like until we start to do that comprehensive plan, I don't think a full grant service would warrant what things we want to try to do.
We use them 3 times?
Oh, I actually, I think, I might have put it in your folder, guy, everyone.
I was looking for it. I didn't
Oh,
see
I'm
it.
sorry, no, I didn't. I have it here. Yes, we did 4 grants with them. We've only been awarded for one so far. That's the acquisition of the vacuum truck. We were awarded $325,000. I believe the truck was close to 6, Mike? So, so they got us a little more than half for that, and that only cost us, I believe, $3,750. So, you know, you see, I mean, unless we really have a plan in place to spend $3,300 a month, I think is a little.
I was hoping, with that $5,000, we got access to that grant portal, and I guess I was hoping we'd find more stuff on our own, and we really never did.
Yeah.
But I think I would give it a shot for another year. Less about using the portal, but more like the retainer that
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah,
And the few times we need them, we just pay them.
yeah.
I think $3,300 a month is just
It's
too
a
much
lot.
for
It's
us right
39
now.
grand a year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. Just so you know, the other grants were, what we're doing right now is, we have a $1 million request for Sunset Ridge improvements. We also have a 1.4 million drinking water infrastructure grant in the process. We haven't been awarded anything. And we also have a $34,000 grant for a salt storage building or device. It's a hut, right, Mike, is what it is? Yeah. So those are in the works, those 3. And I believe none of those are more than 3,000. Oh, here it is. For the salt shed, it's 4,000, I'm sorry. The vacuum truck was 3,300. The Sunset Ridge is 3,300, and the water drinking is 2,500. And so, you know, for 13,000, you know, we could be saving a substantial amount of money, so.
Yeah, I'd go another year the way we were.
You brought up the comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Is there a grant available that we should be applying for that?
There was something that I talked to Dave about, but I think we have to have a general idea of what we want to start doing before we can actually apply for it, I think he said.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
could follow up on that.
yeah, because
sure.
usually the comprehensive plan is to figure out what we want to do, right?
And you'd get the grant first.
Let me choose my words carefully, but, you know, when I looked into that grant last time, I had pretty low expectations of success based on, they would have wanted us to develop a plan that I don't think is appropriate for Southeast to get the money.
Okay.
Got it, okay.
I'll definitely still ask him again.
But yeah, you know, that was just my opinion, so.
Okay, so we'll probably just stick with the same plan for at least a year. Excuse me, and then we'll go from there. But, you know, hey, man, they got us a nice vacuum truck. When are we getting it, Mike?
They delivered on Friday.
On Friday. I'm coming down for some pictures, I'll tell you that. Okay, so, our next discussion is the Fortune Ridge, dedication of the Fortune Ridge Drainage District. Is there anyone here? I knew you looked familiar. Come on up. How are you?
Hello.
Oh, you could, right to the mic? Because we're recording, so be careful what you say.
Unlike
How you guys
us.
doing? Good.
Hi, Deborah Bloomer. I'm here from Glickenhaus Brewster Development. This is regarding the Fortune Ridge Drainage District, and we're looking to dedicate some of the infrastructure and easements to that district now that the years have passed and the infrastructure is complete. So for the town to accept dedication of that. Here with some of my team from Fortune who are maybe more familiar with the infrastructure itself and the maintenance of it if we have any questions.
I don't really have any questions, 'cause, you know, in our last meeting, our superintendent was here from Highways, and he's satisfied, our attorney was here. I don't really think there's any issues.
Okay.
You guys have been more than willing to help us and make sure everything's gonna be right, basically. Right, Mike?
Yeah, I just have one. You have that letter from Joe?
I don't have the letter from Joe, but I have an email where he mentions certain facilities would not be accepted
Right,
at this
okay.
time. Yeah,
So that's-
right. So we have both the north
So
and the
it's on
south
record.
side,
Yep.
and what I understand is that you're willing to accept the facilities that would be on the north side adjacent to the roads that have already been dedicated. So we have sort of a list, and I don't know if he delineated them in his list, but, you know, we can provide a list, I guess, that we're all in agreement of which facilities those are right now.
If you could send
Yeah.
that to me tomorrow, I'll get it to the
Okay.
board. You
Okay.
probably have the town board email.
Okay,
Does anybody have any
Good.
questions?
sure.
I don't, no.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
what happens next? We get you that list
Yeah,
and.
send me the email, and our attorney's not here tonight, but we'll probably get it done for next meeting, and you
Okay,
guys should be
and
all
so do
set.
we have to come back for another meeting?
no.
or-
You don't have to come.
No, it'll just,
I mean, if you want to, but we'll
Okay.
just.
Yeah,
okay, all right, thank you.
thank you, thanks again. Have a great night, guys. Okay, so with that, we're gonna get into the meat and the bones of it. Jared is here from our Parks and Rec Department to give us a little update on what's going on. And there is a lot going on.
Oh, a lot, yeah. 2 pages worth. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Jared, and I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the town of Southeast. Thank you guys for having me again to talk about some of the stuff going on. First, I'll start with the park side before I go to the recreation side. So as mostly everyone knows, the town beach at Tenetta Lake has been open for just about a month now. First half of the month, the weather was not good in any way. So we had a lot of days that we were closed and other days where we opened for a few hours and then decided to close, or were forced to close. But the past few weeks, we've actually seen visitation go up quite a bit, which has been great. I think we've only been open weekends and Juneteenth, but Saturday and Sunday of the past week, as well as Juneteenth, we were well over 100 people, which was really good. We saw a lot of people visiting concession stands, and we got a lot of positive feedback anecdotally about all of the improvements that we did as a result of the ARPA grants that we received from Putnam County. We put down new sand, which people seem to love the new sand. It has a sparkly look to it. Right, Nick? You said the other day, you were like, the sand looks really nice. And we have new lifeguard chairs. We're working on improving a variety of amenities around the area. We installed some new grills since a lot of people like to come out and picnic, so we added some. We renovated the bathrooms, and just a variety of other improvements that we're, slowly but surely getting through. And I'd like to believe really by the end of the summer, we should have a lot of those things in place, including, Eric, I know you're most excited about, we're gonna be doing kayak and paddle boat rentals. We've been working with the insurance company to kind of make sure that all of our ducks are in a row and that we can do this in a way that the people who take advantage of it are safe, and that all kind of liability concerns are addressed. But hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be ironing that out. And, certainly at some point in July, you'll start to see that take shape. And I will be, Eric and I will be kind of working closely together to figure out exactly what we want to do, how much we want to charge, while still keeping things reasonable for people who are already paying to enter the lake anyway. But yeah, so far so good, and we're really looking forward to obviously our swim camp starting soon, which will take place weekdays there, and then the beach will be open afternoon during the week, and then all day on Saturdays and Sundays. Info on the website. So kind of going around town, going to the different parks. The next park we will be working on soon is Volunteer Park, which is up on Zimmer Road. And this is something Alex has really been championing is we're going to be installing a dual tunnel batting cage there. We actually just a few days ago dug some test holes to see exactly what we were looking at, because we do retain a lot of water in the only area that we can build on. But it does look like we have some good ground to work with, some good earth. So we are going to kind of design the bid around what we think would be feasible in that earth, and but we have some really good options, and hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have all that kind of out there to take some bids, and hopefully see construction underway late summer, early fall. Definitely for sure the cages will be in use by next spring when the Little League season starts, but maybe we'll even get lucky and be able to have some use for the fall travel programs and Booyah baseball and all that stuff. So yeah, so far so good there. And then moving to the other park, Markel Park, we're also going to be putting in cages there. For those of you who've been there back in the day, there were cages that ran perpendicular to left field of the second field. They were all encased in chain link. Mother Nature has since taken them over, and that is really kind of a out-of-date way of constructing batting cages. That's how they used to do it back in the day. Now they're all freestanding. They're not surrounded by chain link. So what we're actually doing is taking down the remnants of the old cage. We're going to be clearing that out. And then when we put the new cages in, they're going to run parallel to that outfield fence, which means they'll have a lot more space. They won't be encroached upon by Mother Nature so much, but they'll still be there'll be a little fence in front of it to kind of give it its own space so that it's safe for participants. Luckily, the earth there is much less problematic than that at Volunteer Park, so we feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to move forward with that one with relative ease. And it'll be a dual tunnel, but because the dimensions of the fields there are smaller than the dimensions of the fields at Volunteer Park, those will be slightly smaller tunnels. They'll be 55 feet. Instead of 70 feet. We're also going to be getting rid of the shipping containers that are there and putting in some new sheds. And Nick and I worked together on this to apply for a CREST grant from Senator Harkin's office so that we can tear down a good portion of the fencing that's there that is not in great shape anymore, and the dugouts, and replace them with some things that are newer, safer, modern, and especially with the dugouts, clear spans so that we can keep an eye on the activities taking place there after hours a little bit better. So we got a lot of things in store over the next 2 years at those two parks, and I think people, especially our ball players, are really going to be thrilled, baseball and softball, to have a lot of things to take advantage of. Another park we've done some work at is Scalpino Park. This past spring, we brought in some loads of a sandier clay mix. So, Alex, you would know this best. The clay at Markel Park is very clay heavy, and in the sun, clay tends to bake and get very hard. Now, if you're Yankee Stadium and you have a full-time grounds crew all day on one single field, you can keep that clay perfect, and it's the best thing to play baseball on. When you are a municipality and you have many fields to take care of, along with other buildings and whatnot, you can't put as much TLC into it, so the fields tend to get very hard. So you look at it from afar and you're like, oh, that brownish, reddish clay, it looks amazing. Then you get on the field and it's like brown concrete. So we introduced a more sandy clay, and we took the time this fall to rototill it in. And what the hope is, and speaking with one of the sites that we got the clay from, the hope is that having that sandier clay mixed into the more heavy clay mix, it'll prevent it from binding up as much, because the sand particles will prevent the clay from connecting and locking. Is it going to be perfect? No, it does take time, but we're hoping that over time, instead of going with such a clay-heavy mix and going with a sandier mix, that we'll be able to keep that playing field a little softer and safer for the kids and adults who play on it. And then the thing we've been doing kind of the most work recently is Lakeview Manor Community Center. So I was just actually sent some pictures to Eric and Nick the other day. We just installed some nice blinds in the window, which seems simple, but it was 100 degrees on the day they were installing it. And if you actually put your hand between the blind and the window, it was incredibly hot. And if you put your hand on the other side of the blind, just this far away, you could noticeably feel a significant temperature difference. So obviously, we've all discussed this a lot. Regulating the temperature in the building that is almost completely surrounded by picture windows has been proven very difficult for us. So we're hoping that this relatively inexpensive solution will aid us as we try to make improvements there and make the temperature regulation problem lessen. And then ideally, as we move towards renting the building out for functions, et cetera, we'll have a building that's a little bit more comfortable and easier for the users to manage. Simple blinds, they go up and down.
You know why I'm
Don't bring
smiling?
up HVAC.
No, that's next, that's next on my list.
You know why I'm smiling though, right?
Why's that?
He sent me a picture, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh yeah, look out in the distance there. He goes, no, it's the blinds.
Well, first you said, why are you sending me a picture of empty chairs? And I was like, look past the chairs. And you're like, you mean outside? So that went well. We are working, we did an HVAC, we're wrapping up an HVAC improvement for the bathrooms.
Next.
And we've applied for some CREST grant funding to also solve some other HVAC issues. We just installed some of these things seem simple, but if you've been to Lakeview, you know, like after a while they start to pick at you, like, why isn't this, why haven't we fixed this? So we installed a new amplifier mixer for our sound system. So now you can use Bluetooth to play music on the sound system instead of having to bring in other speakers. So a simple thing, but it goes a long way. If you're having a party, you want to play music, right? So we just did that. We also got a new projector. It's a bright room projector. Problem with that room is even with the blinds, we did not get blackout blinds because that is not comfortable for daytime. No one wants to put down the blinds and the room is completely blacked out. So we invested in a bright room projector that will allow us to, if we need to do presentations there, you guys need to have meetings there, or we need to, we decide to do a movie night or whatnot, where we can still use the projector without it being completely pitch black, which is huge. And then Eric, I was hoping you could help me. Who is the gentleman who donated the smartboards to us?
Corey Johnson.
Okay, so a resident named Corey Johnson actually donated us 2 amazing smartboards. Chris Heller actually looked them up online, and they're like top of the line, basically brand new. They look like that contraption over there, but even more streamlined and simple. And we actually just set them up the other day. So that will be something that ideally, once again, different organizations within town may be able to take advantage of, or when renting it out, if organizations need to do presentations, we have features that they'll be able to use. So I just wanted to give Corey credit because that was incredibly generous. And like I said, I wasn't there to receive them, but the other day, John Fenty and I set them up, and we were like blown away at how awesome they were. So please, extend the thanks to him.
Yeah, maybe I'll send him a letter.
Yeah, that would be awesome because that was incredible. Yeah, and then just a few other things we will be working on. Now that the seniors have wrapped up there, we're going to start demoing. I use that term loosely because we're not taking the whole thing apart, but we're going to be taking down all the old cabinets and some old appliances in the kitchen, and we're going to be bringing in all stainless steel appliances, a new sink, a new commercial-sized refrigerator and freezer. So once again, as we move towards having large events there, that the people who rent it will have the proper amenities to be able to have legitimate functions there. So we will be working that over the next few weeks. And then obviously Mike and I have been in touch, and Nick as well, and at some point we'll be doing paving the back half of the parking lot, because obviously that during the winter it gets pretty bad, especially or big rainstorms. So that will, as we kind of do all those things over the next year and a half with the HVAC and whatnot, we'll really see that building, I think, really kind of come to the next level. And, you know, ideally, we'll be able to rent it out and people will be able to take advantage of it. And we'll be able to host our own, you know, kind of rock star events there as well. So, that kind of wraps up the park stuff. Before I move on to the rec, did anybody have any questions about that, or?
Actually, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
That's okay.
every time I see it, I forget to ask you. On Markel on the first field, right field? When I'm looking at the plate, right field?
closest to the parking lot?
No, the other one.
If you're looking at the plate from the parking lot, right field is to your left.
Yeah, so, the corner fence, there's a humongous tree and the fence kind of goes around it. When we redo that fence, can we get that?
You must mean the second field, right? Oh, you mean, no, you're
Talking
talking,
about down the left field line.
you're talking left field line,
I'm
left
sorry,
field
yeah.
line. Okay.
There's that tree that's just up against it and the fence
Yeah.
goes cockeyed. Is there a way we can get that tree out of there and
Yeah, I
make
mean,
that fence square and dig up a little ground there?
yeah, I honestly haven't looked into that, you know, specifically, but Mike, you know, generally when we have tree issues, you know, he comes out and takes a look, so we can certainly look into that
Okay, cool.
for
I
sure.
always forget to ask.
We
Huge
will,
tree.
the second field for
Big one.
sure. Oh, sorry, Alex, what were you saying?
I said it's a large tree.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is very
Got
large.
Ivy on it too, I think. That should be a great day, Mike.
The second field, I know for sure. I don't know if you've seen just how much the wood line has encroached into that. So when we take that fencing down, for sure, we are gonna cut all that back. So yeah, it's gonna be, especially when, you know, once we are locked in that we got that crest funding, there will definitely be some kind of a more in-depth planning exactly how we want to do it. There's some dimensions we may want to look to changing when we replace the outfield fence. So we have some things for sure that we'll have to really kind of sit down, cross our T's, dot our I's, but,
Are we, good with the fire department's gonna move forward with their plan? I don't think I was here for the meeting when they were here, but are we good with those fields in 2 to 3 years?
So my concern that I raised to both you and Nick is when I initially saw the plan, they were going to run along the edge of our parking lot, a straight line right up, and our parking lot would remain. The new plan actually diagonally bisects the parking lot so that basically if you're looking at Markel Park from the road, from the left corner of the parking lot to the right. So basically, if you were to draw a diagonal line from the left corner to basically the corner of the outfield fence, that will now all be fire department property, which in and of itself, just taking that in a bubble is a huge issue because it leaves us with almost no parking in a park that already has way too little parking. I was passed by there the other night and there were 2 games going on. And there were people parked every which way, all along the road. It is already too small. So I had spoken with Nick about it, and I believe you told me that the fire department said there might be some type of lot sharing arrangement that we're going to.
It came up during the conversation. I did ask Will to look into our lease agreement with the village because it identified the areas of which we had control over, which I believed included the areas that the fire department was including in their plan.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have to resolve that because to me, they're in conflict. So that issue should be resolved, so that way we can ensure parking there.
Yeah.
And if it becomes a matter of the fire department needing it, then we would need to come up with some deal with the fire department to ensure that we could have access to parking,
That it would be
because
preserved.
Yeah.
we can't be left, the fields can't be left without.
100%.
So there is some investigation, I think that Will should dig into a little bit more.
I was actually in the car the other day and we drove by the field and Will said he was gonna reach out to Durkin because of this.
It's not a Durkin issue.
But the property isn't Durkin's where
No, we're talking about the parking lot.
No,
No,
the lot
parking lot.
wasn't.
the park,
The
it's not. okay.
fire department has said that we would end up with more parking.
Yes.
But to Alex's point, we gotta make sure
Yeah.
it's all in writing.
Right.
so.
And I do,
That on an all-star game, they can't say, oh, you can't park there.
Yes, yeah. And that's why if it does go down that road, as we've discussed, Nick, having something in writing that explicitly states what the arrangement is, definitely, paramount for sure.
Before we make any big investments there. Oh, what'd you say?
Be sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Wendy? I'm sorry.
no, I do recall that it was a big concern when we were signing the lease, that it came up, so I'm pretty confident he'll be okay. From what I'm going by memory, which is not always great. But it was a big talking point. That parking lot was very important.
Got it,
to both
okay.
Discussions.
Great, awesome,
Deb,
fantastic.
before we go away from parks, I asked you this question, I don't think you know it, I meant to ask Eric, but maybe you found out, but, do you have any indication on if the aeration is working, or do we get an updated report from Tucci? Eric, do you know?
I haven't seen any, I mean, he copies me on stuff, but he mostly deals with Jared now. So.
Yeah, so I actually, it's funny, I had a note here, but I meant to say, just from an observational point of view, the water quality looks phenomenal. Now, I am not gonna go so far as to say that's directly because of the aeration system, but I'm hoping that they're connected, because I look at it, it looks great. The swim area looks fantastic, and like I said, the anecdotal, people coming up to us, talking to us like, wow, the water looks amazing, it hasn't looked this great in years. So can we say, correlation does not always imply causation, but we're certainly seeing that the water looks fantastic. Now, you had asked me the other day when we spoke on the phone if any test results had been sent my way or not. They haven't. I do know the county comes periodically. We see the woman down there with her scooper and her test tubes and whatnot, doing whatever it is she's testing for. That is not something that they, I believe, share with us unless there is something we need to be concerned about. I did not hear from them at all last year. I haven't heard from them this year either.
Well, they did close 4 or 5 beaches in the county.
That's what I heard. Someone told me, but
ours is still open.
Ours is still open. Yeah, I know. That's a definite.
Jared, I thought, I could be wrong, but I thought that we had to pay every year for some testing. I know Tucci did it last year, I think, and
Oh,
then,
he said he was gonna do it the first 2 years or something,
yeah,
didn't he?
I think this guy Capone did it 3 years before, and there were some issues with that, but, maybe you could look into that. 'cause I thought
Yeah,
we
I
had
could
to.
absolutely look into that.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember with our contract, we get 5 years of maintenance included in what we paid, but I don't know if the maintenance includes the testing. We'd
Yeah.
have to look it up.
But I think we are supposed to do testing,
And
like thorough testing.
Okay.
Because we were gonna do it with the kids one year, remember? And they said that they couldn't because they weren't 18, even if they were with adults.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check with the county on that. I do know the county is there, like I said, it's at least every other week, maybe even weekly. They do testing, and when we met with health department for the beach inspection and everything else, that was not raised as a concern, because I definitely did not, I'll be honest with you, I didn't do there was no testing that I oversaw last year, but I can certainly reach out to our rep and just say, hey, we're a little concerned, is there anything that we should be doing?
If the results are great, share it with them. If not,
Yeah. But at least, so the way, just so you guys know, so with blue-green algae, it's generally not something you can really test for. They basically tell us to go by observing the water. So basically every day when we go to open the lake, we'll walk along the shoreline and we'll look to see if there's anything that resembles blue-green algae, which can take a few different forms. And if we see that, we take a picture of it, we send it to the health department. If they're not sure, they'll come down. If they are sure and they can tell right away, they just tell us to close. And then we have to basically check the water every day thereafter. And once 72 hours have passed without us observing what we observed the first time around, they will then come and test the water to see if whatever whatever organic compounds are present. And if they're not present, they will then reopen the lake. So like I said, I could tell you for sure the first month and a half, we haven't seen anything really, actually.
So
Yeah.
you sent them no pictures?
No pictures, nothing. Yeah, sorry.
stop saying that.
Yeah.
You never thought you'd have to be a marine biologist, did you?
Was there any other parks questions or? Okay, cool. So moving on to recreation, as I said, we're really excited for our swim camp, which is going to be starting on July 7th. It's a 6-week program, runs weekday mornings for those 6 weeks. And basically children get to come out, and it's kind of a combination of just, fun, social time, which is obviously super important, recreational, but they also spend a portion of that where they are learning the proper techniques and safety aspects of water play. And for the younger kids, that's how to, be in water, act safely, the basics of learning how to swim, learning how to float. And for the older kids, that may be learning different strokes if they're ready for that, or kind of some more advanced techniques to help them actually learn how to swim at, more than just the basic levels. And we're super excited. We have a new swim instructor this year. Nick, you met him the other day, also named Nick Imhoff. He's a Brewster resident. He's a certified water safety and swim instructor, and he's actually been kind of hard at work redeveloping our program. Shannon Farrell did an awesome job last year, but she's in her graduate program at school, so she's kind of moved on from running that program, but she's kind of been coordinating with Nick to talk to him about what she did last year so he could kind of work that in to some of the new ideas he has for this year. But we're really excited to take shape. We got a lot of new great lifeguards who are coming on, some young kids who had been in the program who are now old enough to lifeguard and are going to be working with us. And we're really excited for that. So that's going to be kind of our main thing this summer. But we also actually have 13 other kind of smaller peripheral camps going on, sports, different activities, some of which are going to be at the schools, some of which at our parks, a variety of which with outside organizations we're going to be working with. And you know, enrollment has been really good so far. So we're really looking at what's going to be a packed summer from, you know, kind of morning till, you know, late afternoon, you know, most weeks of the summer. So super psyched about that. Also coming up, while it's not our event, the Friends of Southeast will be putting on the fireworks on July 6th. So Southeast Parks and Rec is going to be there. We're going to be doing some cool games with the kids, have some face painting, some giveaways, working with the DJ to do some cool dance contests and things of that nature. So I'm super excited. Did you guys want to speak about the fireworks at all? Or
Don't forget the stuff in the lobby.
Yes, I won't forget that, yeah.
No, I just wanted to make Cypress get involved in the dance contest.
I was hoping he was going to do the hula hoop contest. So.
There's 2 cases of hula hoops out
Nice,
there.
there you go. So yeah, super looking forward to that. And then one of the new events we actually have coming up, and I'm going to ask Lori Bell to come and talk about it real quick, is Lori came to me a few months ago now and said, hey, you know, I've seen towns do kind of like food truck rallies before. What if we did it? And I thought it was a great idea. And she kind of really took the bull by the horns and reached out to all these different food trucks and ice cream trucks. We even got a band. It seems like you guys know the musicians. So I'm gonna let her speak about that, but also just give you kind of a kudos because you've brought this whole thing to life and it's gonna be awesome. And it's just, I mean, the fact that we have, 6 food trucks here? 1, 2, 3, 5 food trucks and a band for the first time doing it. I mean, that's all you. So I appreciate it. So yeah, of course.
I'll make it quick. Don't go too far. So I had sent you guys an email just letting you know that I was working on this, and Nick's been very helpful, as has Jared and Chris. There's a bunch of us throughout the town that were like, oh, it'd be really cool if we could do food trucks. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it. This year we're gonna do it. So we picked a date that we thought made sense. It's July 12th. It's a Saturday from 11 to 3. It sounds simple, but a lot of thought goes into what hours do you do it? Do you do it earlier? Do you do it later? Do you want the daytime? Do you want the late afternoon? So we figured 11 to 3 would be good. I got a list of approved vendors from Kathy. I reached out to, in total, probably 15 different vendors. It's like pulling teeth. You'd think they'd be like, yay, sign me up. I had only one react like that, and it was the first one. It's Frozen Fun out of Carmel. She's an ice cream truck vendor. I tried to solicit local vendors to promote our local businesses, our local food trucks, and I tried to have a nice variety of food. So I've got the ice cream lady, we have Scotty's Egg Rolls, we have Wandering Dave's, we have Rapper's Delight, and then we have Chef Sobre, who does like it's kind of a taco truck, but he's got even more than just tacos. He's got really interesting stuff. So there's a nice variety. I've got a friend of mine making free signs for me to stick in the road, saying food trucks this way for that day. I just gave Jared all the information. He's got somebody on staff who's gonna be a nice flyer that they're gonna be able to circulate. Then we can get it to the vendors. They can put it on their social media and get all their followers to come, and we'll put it on the town's website. And I'll be the little crazy person going around asking all the businesses, can I put this in your window just for like a couple of weeks? So it's in a couple of weeks, actually. It's gonna be here before you know it. I've also asked Mike Burdick if maybe we could use his digital sign, put it on the front lawn first for 4th of July, 6th of July, and then for the 12th for the food trucks. So that's where we're at with that. Wrapped it all up. We're hoping to just not get rain, but you got a generator for the band?
Yes, we do.
The band was all on Nick. He knew them. He reached out to them. They're like, yep, we'll do it for free. I'm like, great.
They're not the type of band you think I would have, though. They're very
No,
good.
and she actually said to me, what kind of music do you think the crowd would like to hear? I'm like, that's in my ballpark then. I said 60s, 70s, and 80s, maybe some 90s. She's like, great. I said, this way, there's a nice variety for whoever's coming, whether it's young kids, older people. So these guys got a generator for the band, because there's no electric in the park, apparently.
Not in that area. of the park.
Not in that area. And you're also gonna get, I think, a big tent
Yeah, we have,
for shade.
Tents, yeah, we're gonna
Right.
make sure we get an extra porta potty in.
Right, so, I mean, we've been on site together, Nick came with us, we walked it off, I did a map for Michael Levine for safety issues with the walking path, and we have one of our employees in the back that's volunteered to be the parking person that day to direct the
Guessing that's
traffic.
you.
Oh, boy.
And he volunteered.
You were voluntold, weren't you?
He volunteered, so he's gonna
Make sure he
meet
doesn't pick
people.
up the signs you put.
We got
No, I will go pick up my signs the next day. I'm good like that. But I think this will be very organized. I'm excited. I hope we have a really good turnout. And we figured middle of July, you pass graduations and you pass 4th of July, and before people start going on a lot of vacations, and then they can come and see the park if they don't know the park, go down and hang out at the beach if they want to, and maybe even go on a bike path. Who knows? I think it'll be a really good event. Get the town on the map. I ran into a lady yesterday at the free concerts down in the village. She's on the garden committee. And she said, oh, what is this for? I said, for the residents of the town. She's like, no, but what is it for? I said, it's for the residents of the town.
for fun.
We just, yeah, exactly. It's for fun. It's not a fundraiser.
Yeah.
We're just doing it. And if it's a big enough success, then we'll have to look at a different place for next year to get more vendors, because it's a parking issue, and then you
Sunset
need.
Ridge.
And what?
Nothing.
No, shut.
She's like, what?
Don't.
We're not talking about it.
Yeah, right. Picnic tables, facilities, we thought the town park was really the best place to have it, between Castle Park and the beach and the parking and the courts and everything. So Jared and Chris have been great. We're gonna try to fine tune this in the next week, and then keep your fingers crossed for no rain on the 12th.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, so we're definitely really looking forward to that, and like I said, again, just kudos to Lori for really spearheading the whole thing and just staying on top of it all. Yeah, so then just a few other things, and then I'll cede to the next speaker. But so the next thing we're going to be working on as well, which is going to be on August 16th, we're going to be doing kind of like a beach bash community day type of event. It's going to basically take place at the beach and incorporate a lot of things, Kathy, that you and Patty used to do. You know, obviously food and ice cream, face painting, yard games, kind of field day and party games. And then we're going to wrap it up in the evening with a movie night at Castle Park. We were considering doing the movie at the beach, but it was a logistical nightmare. With the beach being open, it would be very difficult to set up for a movie. And honestly, you know, I don't really want a projector near the sand and whatever else. So we're going to be doing it in the field next to what is now the new Parks and Rec office building. So basically the beach will be staying open till sunset, and then anybody who wants to stay or who wasn't at the beach who then wants to come will be able to come up for a free movie showing right next to the building. And we're gonna do kind of before the movie, we're gonna do like a little bingo tent and whatnot up there as well. So I have a bunch of activities going on throughout the park that day. Still fine tuning everything, but it is gonna be August 16th. That was the date we had discussed. And we're certainly looking forward to bringing that back. It's something that, due to a lot of logistical, you know, things we were working on last year, our staff was not able to take on bringing that event back, but this year we're really looking forward to it. And you know, as time goes and we really have everything kind of finalized, I'll certainly share it with Nick so that, you know, you can speak at it at whatever board meeting, or if you want me to come back. So yeah, looking at that for August 16th. And then just some coming soon things. We've begun talking about doing some flag football. Obviously, tackle football is now being run by the Brewster Southeast Youth Sports Association. Yes, I can't. Their acronym always
got a lot of
confuses me. I
letters.
don't know why. And they're doing an awesome job with it. If you're on our email list, you've seen we've been putting out info for them regarding registration, regarding, you know, cheer, things of that nature. But with football specifically being run over there, we want to try to bring flag football to the town of Southeast. Obviously at the school level, as we, you know, heard about tonight, you know, girls flag football is really doing well, but we don't have a youth flag football program at all in town, and we'd certainly like to see that take form for a variety of reasons. It's a great activity, no doubt, but there is a section of people who are not interested in tackle football, whether it's their children are not interested in a contact sport or the parents are not interested in having them play a contact sport. So giving them an alternative is something that we really look forward to, but we're going to do it in a way where it does not conflict with the tackle football program, so that there's kind of a clear demarcation, and people, if they want to do both, certainly can, and at the very least, there's not a conflict over field use or anything like that. So we've been working with an organization called, wow, the name escapes me, and I, of course, didn't write it in my Bible. We're working with an organization that has success running flag football programs, a variety of flag football programs in the area, and they really do kind of next level flag football programs. So we've been kind of speaking with them and discussing exactly how we can bring this to life. So we'll have more info about that soon. And then another thing, Nick, you had discussed this way back, but I've actually been working with the Brewster Schools SEPTA, which is Special Education Parent Teacher Organization, or Association, I should say, about bringing some special needs programs for children and potentially even adults as we go to the community. So one of the things we're talking about doing is taking a day and having kind of a special needs day at the beach during when beach hours are not open. So generally we don't open until 12, right? But if we can have the morning, and we're going to do something where only children with special needs can come out, and we can do some activities that are tailored to them in association with SEPTA. That's something we've been discussing over the past few weeks, and I think it's going to be something we're able to bring to life in the next few weeks. So looking forward to giving you guys more info on that as we have it. And yeah, those are some of the, you'll see info on it soon things. And
Fantastic.
I think that wraps up my
You've been busy.
45-minute presentation. I apologize. Yeah, we've been staying busy. And like I said, I think the next year and a half, we're going to really start to see a lot of these plans really take root. And, I think we're going to have a lot of fun things to discuss and a lot of good improvements we're going to see around town.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Jared.
Any questions?
No?
No? All right, cool. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jared.
Appreciate it.
Okay, our next discussion is with our Special Districts Department. Mr. Bruce Bridges. Good evening.
Nick asked me to give you a quick update on the special districts and MS4, so combining them here. On the MS4, to start with, the annual/interim report for 2024 was filed with the DEC on April 1st. The big binder that I had the last time we were here talking about this, the white monstrosity there, is now with Han, and we're getting it digitized so it can eventually be on the website online, which is going to be required as part of the permit in the next few years. Don't ask me the exact date. They keep on changing it. The next interim report's going to be due October 1st. I'm starting now to work with Han. There's a number of issues that need to be completed by then. I was speaking with Mike before. This includes mapping and inspecting, what is it? I believe it's 2,400 plus storm drains and sewer connections, and that's a monster. From the town side, issuing permits, so far have issued 16 MS4 permits this year compared to 12 this date last year. The DEC is continuing to throw us curveballs because they revised the general permit basically without telling anyone except maybe those in the know. But when they did that, you have previously issued permits under the old general permit that you only had a short window to file a notice of intent to keep the permit active. Needless to say, a lot of people were caught unaware by that, or for whatever reasons didn't do it, which for here in Southeast, we had over 100 previously issued permits that all of a sudden were terminated. Some of these are still active projects. We had to filter through a massive list to get down to the ones that needed to either close out their permits or refile and reopen a new permit. And if we didn't have enough paperwork before, that just dumped another ton on us. Let's see, where are we here? That's essentially it with the MS4. I mean, not that there's not more topics there, but just a brief summary here. In terms of special districts, I guess the big news, and maybe some of you or all of you are already aware, but the DEP has pushed out their aqueduct project past, or at the earliest, 2027. The way they're making it sound, it's actually going to be sometime after 2027. So hurry up and wait. But with that in mind, the work that was required at the Drewville Pump House has been done. So when the project starts, if the project restarts, we're prepared for potentially lower water levels in the Middle Branch. At Brewster Heights Water, sand filter number 3, the last remaining one has been reconditioned. It's up and running, which is good because the summer season is with the different water conditions. That's when those 3 filters are really put to work, and all 3 are up and running. As previously mentioned earlier, we've been working with Millennium on some grant money, number of different issues, projects there. At Brewster Heights Water, we're trying to get money actually for the rebuild of filter number 3, sand filter number 3, approximately $19,000 for the SCADA system, which is the electronic monitoring system for it. And then we're also seeing if we might be able to get money toward converting the pumps that are in Drewville currently back to the original style pumps that were there, that would work even if the water level in the lake were to drop below the level of the pump. So we would be in much better shape for...
So we don't have to go through that again.
Exactly. And then in addition, we are looking for money to actually replace the 3 sand filters at Brewster Heights. That's about $1.5 million number. And that's something we'd like to get done in the next 3 to 5 years. So let's hope some grants come through. Also, we have Han now working with WRT on a filtration system for the PFAS for Birch Hill and Star Ridge. They've have plenty of experience with this because they were working with North Salem on it, and we're just really starting that process, but hopefully that should come up to speed relatively quickly. And then the other thing of note, Brewster Heights Sewer, we're working with TAM, an outfit from the other side of the river, on replacing the motors, rotors, and bearings for one of the 2 aerators in the oxidation ditch. The second unit probably should be replaced within the next year, but one at a time here. And then still at Brewster Heights, we're working with Han because the oxidation ditch there is going to need to be worked on, relined. It's a 40-year-old piece of concrete that's starting to show its age, and we need it operating where we have gallons and gallons of problems.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it.
How do you think the transition's going with Jacobson and Han? I haven't asked you that yet.
too early to tell.
Yeah.
As a coincidence of the combination of my job, it's definitely going to be interesting on the MS4 side because we're losing a lot of historical knowledge between Jacobson Engineering and then also Victoria retiring tomorrow. So that's going to be a heavy load to pick up. On the special district side, I think it will be not knocking Jacobson Engineering, but I think it will work out well with the special districts. They're local, meaning they're New York. They have more information with grants and what kind of things are going on here. They have a dedicated water guy, and I think it'll work out fine.
Yeah. And we had talked about Victoria. I'll talk to you and Jackie about that. We'll try to get something in writing to be able to help you guys out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a resource that,
Yeah.
I think we have to wean ourselves off of, but
It's a good way to.
Not
it's a good way to
overnight.
put it, yeah, yeah. Any questions?
any questions?
No questions, thank you.
No.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Have a good evening.
You too? And Lori Bell, I was gonna tell you to sit up here because I know that this is gonna get your foot moving a little bit. For our next discussion, I wanna talk about the future of Town Hall. So I was up at, the OTB location again. I went up there with Stuart Bates, who put in the actual leach fields up there.
I think you have to turn the projector back on.
Oh, we turned it off, okay. It's not that important. In every one of your packets, I gave you a little
He said
map.
we'll turn it on.
Yeah, could you, thank you, Paul.
Peter, is there any way you could kill that? Oh, no, that's.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. It's just a basic picture I want everyone to be able to see. If I could find mine, there it is. Thanks, Paul.
Remember that one.
Oh, it's just warming up. So that's an aerial, you'll see in a second, it's an aerial view of OTB. So I went out there last week with Mrs. Bell, and we met Stuart Bates out there. Stuart Bates is of Bates Septic, and he was involved, I believe it was 2013, with the leach fields that they redid and added. If you see on top of this picture, it's a little tough to see here, but there are, right here, there are 3 manhole covers. This is where the sewer is. Runs along the sidewalk and, then into the building. It's plenty big to handle our use.
What's the square footage on that building?
Oh, I was gonna get to that.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
getting ahead of you, sorry.
It's okay, because I think that was a big part of the question and ask. We are way below what this thing can handle. I spoke with the health department. The only thing I haven't done yet is had the water tested, or, I figured we'd get to a point first and then deal with that. But apparently, when they did this new section, that's very pretty, number 3, they cut a septic service pipe out so that they couldn't use that new spot for a high usage situation. So we can also reconnect that pipe and we'll have no septic troubles at all. So other than Lori mentioned to me today about the oil issue that had come up. There was no report by the Board of Health, and there was no report by the DEC. So when there's an oil spill, it goes through channels, and then these guys write reports and say, hey, there was a spill, it's okay, like Brady Standard, I guess that's what's going on down there. So there's none of that there. There's only 2 oil tanks at the location that we saw. They're both above ground. One isn't even, you know, we don't need to use it, and the other one we have to investigate because apparently there's a fire suppression system in the building that has its own tank. And that tank, that pump ran off of this oil. So I don't know if we'd have to change the oil or what, but that's the only 2 oil tanks that are there. Obviously, if you look at the picture, we have a ton of parking. You know, a lot of overgrown stuff around the sides of the building, but that's all cosmetic and nothing that we can't handle. So right now, they had, you know, I think I said last week, they had a down payment from somebody that was looking at the building, and basically the realtor told me he doesn't think that they thought it through enough for the use that they wanted, and it wouldn't have worked. So that's why they kind of backed out. So I don't understand what he was saying about why they reduced their asking price. So I believe it's 1.8 right now. And we had Doug Hahn out there yesterday with us, because I just wanted to get a feel from him what he thought the inside would entail to get it to where we'd want it. So just,
Really their thing though, right?
well, yeah, but I just wanted like an educated eye on it to see if it was even feasible. And he was somewhat impressed, and he definitely thinks for our needs it would be a good fit. I don't know if you want me to talk about numbers now, but I don't have like, you know, solid numbers, but with, like I said last week, with the sale of this building and the 2 buildings in the village, if we could come close to $1 million for all 3 properties, and we offer them, I know you.
I wouldn't talk about the offers.
The offers, okay, yeah. In the end, it would not cost nearly as much as it would to build something new or a different property that I've looked at so far, because they're all bigger, more expensive. So just so you have an idea of what we were talking about when we were out there, this is my makeshift little map here. So the section on the left is older, obviously we know that.
Like 1898 older. The original barn.
This portion where the mouse is, this is what leaked. It's a dome type roof. They fixed it so it doesn't leak, but it definitely would have to be replaced. So what I was thinking of, when you walk in the building, over here at number 3, this could house the town hall employees and departments. I was thinking number 2 here, which is a separate entrance, could house the courthouse and the court clerks. And then here at number 1, the building department. The squiggly line here, this used to be a parking lot, but the grass has just basically overgrown it. So what Lori said was, we could open this up, and I was thinking the same thing. We open this up, and we could get, you know, maybe like 8 to 10 parking spots up here for people that go to the building department. Obviously, all the employees will have to park away from the building. And they would have their own entrance. They would have their own office. They have 2 floors, basically. They, you know, obviously all of this stuff would have to be updated and upgraded. But they would have their own space. They have a ton of storage. The only thing that I would recommend we do is from 3 to 4, you can't get there without going outside the building. I would think that we connect everything with the hallway so that you can get throughout the whole building without having to go outside.
Other than the expense, which I have no idea, I've been in the building,
Yeah.
so I know what it's like. But like the weird brick tower and the old barn mall seems like something we can't use at all. So like, what do we do with that?
Well, what we had come up with was,
Not exactly, but where that was, yes.
you can't tell, but there's 3 windows on that tower. They covered it up with the siding. You can see the windows. from
Yeah,
the side.
from the inside.
So we figured we could possibly put the planning board and the special districts on the other side of that tower in the building and make that an entryway and an entryway up to the building department. So that, you know, because I do believe they need two egresses out of an office space. So that would be vital to the building department because there's no other exit over there. And you know me, I'd like to put Southeast on the tower and an American flag and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
To
that's
make it
how-
a vote.
I mean, the tower seems like a big waste of space, but it seems structurally okay, but like the barn mall section, like,
That would need the most
seems like it
work.
needs to go, you know?
Iris, can you point that out?
That's 1 and 2. It's here. The black
Oh,
part.
okay.
And
That was the part that leaked.
yeah,
Well, it's
over
more the
here.
high roof part.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
This length. But this whole section is rather old, but Doug didn't think like it would be falling down without, you know, some structural, upgrade, basically.
Yeah, just the space is totally useless the way it is. You know, you got the 2-story section, you got the perimeter, you know, it's just a weird space. So, like, I have no idea what's in your head yet, like, you clearing this whole building, you know, like, I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, I don't know, you know,
There's like 4
posts,
very distinct
sections.
sections of this building, and they don't flow, you know?
Well, that's why I think we would have to engineer it to where we can get it to flow, but I kind of feel like if we had building department on one side, and us on the other side, it would kind of, you know, seem like we had much more space, you know what I mean? Not like we're all jammed into one corner of the building. And the courts, you know,
Is,
we wouldn't have to deal with them, they would have their own little world. But I would have it all connected so that there's egress for everyone to get out of the building, God forbid something ever happened. The portion for where, the building department is, where the room is open with just like the 6 posts, like, you know, I think we could frame out rooms in there. We could put Mike and an assistant inspector in the offices on the, you know, like build a better office on the left of the entryway, and to the right could be all the clerks and, you know, Jerry, fire inspector. Did you want to add something, or I'm kind of,
I'd be happy to come up a point.
you can. And even the main entry for number 3, there is a door in the back right hand of the building where, you know, the public wouldn't be able to use like we have here.
It's kind of hard to envision not having been in the building. I've been in the building as OTB and back in the day when it was the barn.
Eric and I toured the building
You
last
were in
year.
it.
I was in
Yeah.
it 4 times. Use Will's mic,
So
maybe.
I just disagree with your statement about that second floor.
The top of the barn,
Microphone?
Just put it on the
wow.
counter.
we'll
Well, it's
pick up
recorded.
on
I
this.
know.
Well, we could look at, on the top part of the barn wall, when we were there, it looked like they just put facade on it. You could almost see outside. There was like no insulation on the top part.
I'm not saying it doesn't need work, but I think again, Doug Hahn didn't see any structural issues.
Right.
The floor is solid, it's beautiful hardwood floors up there. You do have the cathedral where you had the extra set of stairs that went up to the 3rd level, where there used to be, you know, like the incense lady, and there was a couple
But
of,
there was a photographer there, I believe.
there was some weird stuff going on up there.
What?
But But there's more room up there than I think we realize. First of all, like above where Nick is suggesting the building department, what's nice is there's a slight grade up to here so that when you come in that way, you're at
Level, yeah.
your level. Like there's no stairs to get up into that section where we're proposing you put the building department. Above them, because it is where the old barn mall was, is open. It's cathedral, but we could put a ceiling in, and then there's plenty of storage up there on the third floor.
So what I'm thinking of, where it just kind of had the perimeter, that's actually the third floor you're saying?
Yes, above where we want to, in theory, put the building department, and they put up, like if you took the stairs from, if you came in this way, and now you're on the second floor, if you will, but you're at grade, there's another set of stairs that goes up to that open
That's why I was thinking
third
it was the
floor
second
area.
I think, yeah.
But they put up a fake wall, because if you're walking on that catwalk,
Yeah.
it dead ends. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
crazy. I went everywhere. I'm like, I'll be right back. And I'm like wandering around. They just put up a fake wall. So there's a whole additional section for storage up there that they just walled off. And I just think, you know, go up there with a sledgehammer, you open it up, the wooden railings and everything was so secure. Nothing was like wobbling. It was probably because it's been left alone. Like, I just think it's weathered time pretty well. And I think just, we're talking about mostly cosmetics. Yeah, some insulation, maybe pop a couple of windows in. It's dark. I think that would be Michael Levine's biggest concern is the lack of windows. I get it.
There were two there.
Huh?
There were two there, just covered up.
Yeah, but we'd want to put more in probably.
I did talk to Doug again today, and he brought up elevator. But because of that thing there, we wouldn't need an elevator.
I agree. I agree,
There's
because
no
you'd have
second floor per se.
at grade entrance to the building
Yep.
department, and then the main entrance is
It's all
also
the
at
same
grade.
level, yep.
I don't think you need, I think we could get away with not
And that would
having
be
an
a very
elevator.
big expense, and we could definitely ADA the whole entire building without,
And if we had to put an elevator in, the perfect place to put it would be in the silo, which is where the original stairs are
word I
that
couldn't
used to go up
remember.
to the mall area.
To
The stairs-
Salon 2000.
Yeah,
Salon
well,
2000.
or CNC.
We should give him a haircut.
I think,
Yeah.
was
is
it
that what it was?
CNC, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm with Nick. I think that we were talking other times about other options, and I think we could probably get into this for the least amount of money out of pocket as a town and all be in one building. Building brand new is gonna be multiple millions. Even if we own the land, you know, we gotta think septic, we gotta think well, we gotta think all the infrastructure. I know that when the town of Patterson built their town hall, I think they spent $4 million, and that was like 20 years ago. Town of Kent,
We're not building a new building.
no, okay, I'm just throwing numbers,
Well,
I'm just throwing numbers out there, though. Town of Kent, their complex, with their town hall, the police department, library, I think they spent 11 million, and that was like 15 years ago. So it's not cheap to build new, and while I love a brand-new town hall, I don't know that,
And I did speak to Ron. Tony did a few good things, but one of them was he socked some money away.
he sucked a lot of money
And I
away.
don't think we would have to go to any sort of bond for this and have it, you know, pretty damn new, basically. I don't know if
That
I'm
was
allowed
just
to
my
say
2
that,
cents.
say that word.
Lori, how many square feet is it?
Oh, it's 21,446, and right now we have 14,000,
Including our storage.
including our storage, that's one main and here. So we'd have, 8,000 square feet more.
It's more to heat, more to, you know, these are all
Well,
long-term, you
the
know.
other thing is, we would have more room to do things,
Okay.
comfort-wise. And you guys know, when you walk into that front right-hand side, with a bulletproof setup there, we can have Kathy's office right there, Anne Marie's office right there, just like it is now. And then I don't know what they call them, but I would assume they're called safety doors, where you can't get through it unless somebody presses the button or you have a key.
You know, Eric and I were excited about this last year, but
Oh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even look
I'm
at it if
just-
you guys didn't.
honestly, like, I have a hard time getting my head around how we do more research without spending a bunch of money. And I don't know what you're thinking. I have no idea what it would cost to renovate that building, but I don't wanna spend $100,000 figuring out if this makes sense or not. Like, so I don't know how to take the next step, and I'm scared of a building that has a lot of history like that.
Talk too much.
Oh,
They're not
sorry.
gonna hear you.
No, I would like to see the building. I've not seen it. I've
Yeah,
only
the
heard
kiddos
about it.
should meet us there anytime.
Do you know with that leak, is there a mold issue?
Yes. The real estate guy wouldn't even come in the building with me and Eric. We were in there by ourselves.
Yeah, I
that
don't know if it's
mitigation
an
could be
extensive
cost.
situation.
Yeah, but the mitigation is very costly too, so we have to think about that. But I would like to see it.
But, so every time I take the next step, I kind of run to Lori because she's got real estate experience. I talk to Tommy a little bit. All
No,
right,
but like at some point,
it's gonna start
like if
costing
we were
money.
serious, we need an architect, we need and like, I don't know how serious we are, and I don't know how to get to the point where we can make a good decision without spending a lot of money to figure that out.
And I was gonna save this for another time, but Jerry Schrammick came here today. We have some issues in this building that need to be remedied rather quickly, because they're fire situations. Like, there are some windows
Like
that
that?
are. Yeah, like that. There are some windows that are screwed shut, some windows fall straight down, some windows don't open just because they're so screwed up.
And that's fair, but
Yeah.
we can fix windows for less
Yeah.
than millions of dollars.
No,
and so-
I get that, but, then thinking that, if something goes on in the village and we lose one Main Street, now we have to worry about those people, and everything that's in that building.
Did we revisit renovating this building?
Not really, we didn't, once I started looking here and at the other properties, I kind of dismissed this.
There was a plan
Yeah.
to square up the building. I mean, if 99% probably not worth it, but it'd be good to just look at it.
Yeah,
It should be somewhere.
yeah, we definitely have to have it.
You'd mentioned, somebody mentioned, fire suppression.
Mhm.
That's gotta only be in the new building, I assume.
I don't know, I swear I saw a black pipe in the barn.
In the OTB?
Yeah,
Yeah.
In the old building?
Yes.
They have sprinklers in that.
In the barn part too?
yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure of, but definitely in the old.
I saw a
OTB
black
barn.
pipe with orange fittings.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure they were there.
The biggest concern I have on this, and like Eric said, and we went there together too, is what is the return on investment for the residents? And if there was some sort of rec use here, like, this is going to make us more efficient. I don't think it's gonna save us any head count. It's gonna let us operate better.
When you say head count, what do you mean?
Like, I think we're inefficient now by having two buildings.
Yeah.
Right, so what's the payoff, like, if we go here, we're not gonna have less employees, right, we're gonna have the same employees. We're gonna have much better space, we'll be able to operate, better, but how does that,
We're gonna have higher
benefit the
expenses,
taxpayer?
as Wendy said. We're gonna lose a few $100,000 a year in interest income. Like, there's a lot of things to consider. It's not as simple as the building, but.
The one thing I
So
would
may-
add too would be, we don't have a crystal ball as well, but as you go further in the future, there will probably be more electronic means to do a lot of what we do, and remote, probably. So expanding our square footage, where we probably won't anticipate a higher head count and maybe actually less need for the public to visit, something to consider as well. We can't predict it, but I would bet in the future, more of what we do today can be done without making a visit. I don't know if that's 10 years out, 20 years out, but we could find ourselves with much more space than we actually needed.
I guess too, at this point, then maybe I should sit with Ron and start talking some of those return numbers and.
Well, I think what he was saying is, what's the benefit to residents, right? Like, this makes it better for employees, we're more efficient, all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't give anything to residents. Like, he's
Yeah.
got, you
And
know.
maybe there is an answer there, maybe there's a use that we, some sort of recreation use, I don't know, but like, if we go to the public and say, I'm spending $2 million, you're gonna have an awesome park, and they're like, I could stand behind that all day long, and, if they disagree, then fine. If we're gonna spend $4 million on this, $3 million, what's,
And nothing's gonna change for them.
yeah. In
Well,
fact,
it's
what
gonna be
we'll-
way easier to get in and out.
I disagree.
At that light, I don't know about that.
Better parking, for
For the
sure.
parking.
Does solve the parking issue.
That's a town road too.
Yes,
The
Argonne
driveway.
Road.
No, it's not.
Ah, Mike's like, no, it's not.
Since 2012.
Okay.
The map says Argonne Road right on it.
That sign's coming down.
Tomorrow morning.
Good, before it sells, whether it sells to us or someone else, I agree. But
All right.
that's my struggle with it.
Yeah, so at this point, I will, Doug was asking George and his dad some questions on some of his thoughts from the other day. So when he gets those answers, he's gonna come back to me with them. Maybe at that point, I'll just see what the next step should be. And, if it ever comes to a financial, step, I'll just talk to you guys and we'll figure it out. If
And
it
even
is what's
share
going on.
some of, like, you have some stuff in your head about what
Yeah.
should go what, and I'm not saying hire an architect,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
sit down at the kitchen table and draw something out for me, just so I know what you're thinking, so.
I could get, I was gonna say, I'll get Lori to draw. She drew a beautiful map today of that park there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Bates or,
Tyndall.
whatever, that, if, an HVAC guy, I got, anything in the old building needs a new HVAC, right? The electric, in the old building, I mean, I have a picture of one of the
Yeah,
panels in
it's a
there.
retard. Yeah,
It's-
it's crazy.
Those two things alone could be a few $100,000, right? So, you'd have to have some soft numbers. I can't see the renovations being under $2 million, especially with prevailing wage, probably
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
But those are just things I think we need to know.
Oh, yeah, we got
And I think you should probably start with Mike out there to see, if there's egress issues, if there needs to be sprinklers.
This Mike?
There-
Oh, Mike Broom. Oh,
No, not Mike.
I was trying to
Mike's
get,
getting rid of the road. You're done.
I was trying to get, Mike out, but he was off yesterday.
Okay, yeah,
I'll get him out there.
he-
When Wendy wants to be able to
I'd
go,
love to see it.
I'll bring him out there.
I'll bring my gas mask.
Go to the,
My N95.
The windows are open. Just kidding. Okay. Cool. We'll keep talking. All right, so I'll make a motion to go into the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
At
Aye.
8:30.
At 8:30?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the correspondence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher list for $2,318,645.14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the budget transfers and to accept such transfers as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The supervisor's report. So, I got a little squirrely when Ron sent this to me. And the reason I got squirrely was, we actually paid. I wrote it here somewhere. Oh, we actually paid for the Spruce Road water main this month. We also paid a pretty substantial amount for Cobb Road. And we also, we're coming up a little short right now in the building department. The good news is, Ron told me we should be receiving some ARPA funds for Cobb Road and, what was
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you to see if he could update that, my
Yeah,
spreadsheet
I'll
on
make him do
what he
that.
submitted and what he already got.
Because
so.
I think what he said was, we're gonna get squared up for what we've paid out on Cobb Road.
And there was a few other ones, and even like the time clock and stuff.
Yep.
You know, much smaller amounts, but, you know, I'm just nervous because we're theoretically late in submitting, and I just want to make sure we get it reimbursed, so.
Yeah, no,
Nick,
definitely.
you said something about Spruce Road water main,
Yeah, we paid for that this month,
but that gets reimbursed, right?
not Spruce Road. Spruce Road's gonna end up being part of the Peaceable Hill Water District. So from the sales of those lots,
But that district bears the expense for that.
yeah, but
So-
like it came out of our account, and I'm like, Ron,
Oh, so we are,
what
but we
happened?
are gonna get.
Yeah, we will get that
Okay.
money back.
So it's not an expense to the town?
No,
Okay.
but when I first looked at it, you know, I was like, this number is really large, Ron. And that's, you know, that was the explanation for that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But other than that, you know, rec is doing pretty well. Like I said, the building department's a little behind, but I haven't really had a chance to talk to Mike to see what's going on there. I think Mike's here next month, so he'll give us our, highway's been doing great. Brewster Hill, they finished the last, drain that was in front of my house today. So they're ready to go. Do you have a date for Brewster Hill? Yeah, come on up, please. Because I was going to talk to Kathy, too. July 7th is when they're going to start 312. So,
The following week is Brewster Hill.
okay.
It's the second week in July.
And then they're going out to Minor to start digging that stuff up?
Yeah, so what's gonna happen is, when Intercounty comes in to pave, they're gonna be paving Brewster Hill, Minor Road, Larkspur Drive, and Birch Drive, all in that area, all at the same time.
Oh,
As,
okay.
You know, within a couple of days of one another. So, yeah, finally, I've spent more time driving and walking Brewster Hill, and every time I drive on that road or I walk on that road, I find another problem. I mean, it's just been absolutely, we've changed 3,500 feet of pipe that was bad. We've changed
30?
30-something
Yeah.
catch basin tops that were bad. We've addressed 5 different problems where water bleeds out of the ground after it rains and it ruins the blacktop. You know, it's just every time I work up there, it's just something else. But we're done now. We finally addressed all the issues. Thank you to the residents. They've been great. You know, it's been a long time. We've worked on it last fall, and we've been up there pretty much every day since April, you know, and they've been, you know, they've been really good understanding about what's going on up there. So that's you know, this is it's a really big project for us. It's ARPA money, but, you know, this road is gonna last for a long, long time now, because this is one of the longest roads we have. It's over 2 miles long. It's gonna be, you know, over $500,000 to pave it, and I just couldn't justify spending that kind of money and not do the infrastructure that's under the road without taking care of that first, so.
So after it's paved and the people are speeding by my house, do I call you?
Don't call me. There's a couple of different things. I was at a traffic safety board meeting, and Eric, they spoke in length about the situation with the traffic light on Route 6. There's a possibility that we may have some ARPA money left when we're done with this paving that we have to spend by September of 2026. And I also was wondering if there's a way that we could reach out to Harcum, because the state is not gonna spend the money on a light there. They've already made that clear. The traffic study, the traffic volumes don't warrant a traffic light there. The accident data does not warrant a traffic light there. So I think if the only way that there's gonna be a traffic light there to protect our residents is gonna be, the town is gonna have to put a traffic light there.
Mike, where's this?
The intersection of 121 and Route 6.
Okay. The
It's
blinking
just,
light?
I mean, just the buses,
Yeah.
they will not let the buses cross there, so the buses have to turn right, coming out of 121, and go all the way down Route 6, and turn around at the Park and Ride and come back. There's countless near misses, and the problem is that the state doesn't
count near misses. They just want hard accident data, and that's all they care about.
And what I heard in that meeting, an event, is if you're putting in a project like Restaurant Depot, traffic counts matter. You
Yeah.
gotta put a lighting on your dime. If not, then,
Yeah,
That's
it's-
how they're getting away.
then they're not gonna do it.
You know, but every time you do an improved project, you do a project, they want to know what the traffic impact is going to be. So if it adds 20 cars, they're going to say, well, now that it adds 20 cars, you guys have to put a, $300,000 traffic light in.
They were saying like Nico's Seafood, whatever Rochester's trying to do over there, that they should chip in and put the light there. And I'm like, how about, well, never mind.
How about now?
But I think,
Can you, if we wanted to spend money, can the town put a traffic light on the state
absolutely,
road?
all you got to do is go to their signal people and apply for a permit. And they'll give you a permit. The guy from there, he goes, I love traffic lights. He goes, I would put them everywhere. He says, but it's financially not possible. So the bottom line is we would apply to the state for a permit to put a traffic light there, and then we would sign a maintenance agreement with them that they would take care of it after we installed it.
Mike,
Then it would be,
What do you think that would cost?
Right now, I just reached out to the contractor from Pugsley Road, because you're not allowed to use wires across the road anymore. Now you have to have the arms.
Yeah.
So that's the newest job that we just did. It's got 2 poles, got 2 arms. So he's gonna get me the data on what that cost. So we're gonna have we should have a pretty accurate number of what that would cost to have a light put in there.
What would it be? Like, if you had a guess, what would it be, ballpark?
I would say it's probably under $500,000, because there's a lot that, there's,
Does it matter that the electric is there?
the electricity is there, which is a good thing, but then you see how they do the warning lights?
Yep,
So
yep.
now you have to do the warning lights, and then you have to have
Yep.
power at the warning lights, so there's a
Couple
lot
of
of things,
things, yeah.
different things to consider. But I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the town board, that we may want to start thinking about reaching out for some grant money from Senator Harkam,
Yep.
just go out to these people, and, all our assemblymen, everybody, and just say, listen, this is for the residents, this is to try to protect our residents, and we're just not gonna get the help from DOT.
We should ask the county too.
Yeah, reach out to the county, just try to reach out to anybody that we can to try to get some funding for this.
Mike Lawler hasn't helped us yet, so he's gotta step up.
The residents there are starting a petition apparently, and the petition wasn't written well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, but I asked them to wait until we had this meeting and stuff, but, I think we can make a good case to them, or the county. I mean, the
Yeah.
county gets all
Yep,
our sales
yep.
tax money, so why not?
And Eric just asked me about the school.
You would just think if,
No,
a school safety thing would matter.
Mary
to
Smith
more,
called me
yeah.
yesterday, before the meeting, day before the meeting,
Okay.
and said, if we provide a resolution, I have to go read
Well,
what
what
I wrote.
she was saying is, when we've done this in the past, we passed a resolution to support a traffic study.
Yeah.
When we were there, they said that they sent us this letter
Yes.
addressed to Tony in 2024, and they closed it out. And I still didn't get a clear answer. If they said they only do traffic studies every 3 years, and I had sworn that they did one in 2021, and that was what this was based off. That was during COVID, and I had said, well, if that's the case, it's been 3 years, and it should be redone. And he said, no, it was 2024. And I said, well, you did a traffic study in 2024? And he said no, and then that lady said yes, and then they told me to foil it. So I did foil it, so we'll see what comes back with that.
But study aside, I just meant the school reaching out, talking about the bus safety
Yes.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
So they'll pass a resolution. We'll
And
pass
the other
one.
reason was she wanted to know when Cobb was gonna be done, because if school starts before Cobb is done, she's gotta come up with a whole nother plan to move those buses.
So just to give you an update on Cobb Road, the structures are set.
I was there this
So they set the structures, they're working on pouring the wing walls now. I think they're on schedule
Yeah.
to have that
Joe
road
was-
open
yep.
before school starts.
Joe was pretty confident.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty good schedule for that. They've also started the Metro North parking garage. They're working in there now. They have a temporary access road cut in there, so they've been working, they're back there working now, clearing and grubbing, so that project is moving forward. That's gonna, you know, once that's done, that's gonna alleviate some traffic on Prospect Hill. It's gonna give people an option to be able to go to Home Depot in that area over there without having to go out onto 312, because they'll be able to go in Prospect Hill and then make a right, and it'll bring them out onto Independent, up by Home Depot, so that's, to avoid 312, I think that's gonna be a, you know, that'll be,
Another busy
that'll be a
road.
good thing for people, just so they don't have to go out there on the 312.
Mike, back to 121, eastbound would just stay that
Yeah,
yield?
you got that ramp that just goes eastbound, it's
Okay.
it's
So it's
really,
only the
it's
left.
everybody that needs to go left, and I've also brought this up at the meeting, the Traffic Safety Board meeting. We had a pre-construction meeting with State DOT. They're gonna start the project in 2026 to
For the
redo the ramp
84.
from the westbound ramp that goes onto 684. So when you're heading west on 84, coming from Danbury, and you get on 684, that bridge that goes over 84, over 684, they're actually widening that bridge and making that whole thing 2 lanes. Once they start that project, it's gonna put a tremendous increase in traffic on Route 6, because people are gonna know that the construction is going on, and they're gonna get off at Sawmill River Road, and they're gonna go down Route 6, and that's, you know,
Mike, wouldn't they be the lead agency then? Because remember he was saying?
Yeah.
So shouldn't we demand that?
yeah,
they do
well,
that?
you know, I mean, they're gonna be the lead agency, and, you know, because they're the lead agency, you can ask them to do a traffic study, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that they're gonna do it, you know, I mean, it's,
I reached out to Ashley, she was on vacation, but, it's a good point, we could do it if we had to, but I think we should raise hell before we, spend that kind of
Yeah, I
money.
mean, I guess I'll just start writing letters, start calling.
well, you know, I mean, I think there may be an opportunity, you know, when we're done with the paving projects, we have until 2026, September 2026, to spend any ARPA money. So if there's any ARPA money left from what we got from the federal government, and then if we start reaching out to some of these people now for some grant money, we may be able to come up with some money for, you know, to at least minimize the cost of you know, putting a traffic light there, because it's sounds like it's something that's just the state is never going to do, just
Yeah, I would
unfortunately.
just rather pave our roads than.
Yeah,
put
oh,
light
yeah,
on their road.
yeah, so would I, you know, that's, you know,
Do you know why they're changing it to poles instead of wires?
yeah, because the wires fall down.
Meanwhile,
mean,
the
things, you know-
wires have been up since 1930.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's the issue, it's, that's the problem.
I guess I win. I said it, I'm not a nice.
But yeah, we did get our vac truck, that's a great thing, you know, to be compliant with the MS4 situation. We got that, we ended up getting 325,000 out of the 600,000 for it. So that's, you know, that was a good thing for us to get that. So that worked out well. And
Mike, do you know when they're paving Milltown?
Oh,
I think that's supposed to be happening like
was
with,
very soon.
yeah,
because
within the next week or two.
I was just out there, the woman a little bit past you on the left, they were parking in a driveway, so we went out there to ask them to move. And the kid said that they were finishing up the pipe,
Yeah.
one of the last pipes under the road, on the side of the road.
312 was supposed to start, I think 312 was supposed to start last Monday, or this
I
Monday.
talked to Brian yesterday, and I guess something happened, they're coming.
Well-
they're
When
coming
are they
the se-
starting?
The 7th.
Thank God.
The crazy thing that happened, when they designed that project, they were gonna stop 25 feet before the railroad tracks. And they were gonna leave that god-awful bump at the railroad tracks. And you know, finally, one of the resident engineers for DOT was like, this is ridiculous, we gotta go to the railroad tracks. Well, now that entails a contract with Metro North, because you're working within their right of way. So that's why this project kind of slowed down, because they actually had their equipment there and they were ready to start, but now that they have to have this agreement with Metro North, so it kind of pushed the project back a week, so,
That helps us. for the-
yeah.
So they're gonna do all the way from 22 to the railroad tracks.
Yeah, they're gonna,
Just a
they're
little
at
over the
least,
tracks, right?
Yeah, and then they're gonna fix the spot on the other side of the tracks, but they're gonna do from the tracks out to 22, which is, you know.
So this is another unorthodox thing, but they left the portage on there where they were pulling off. I saw somebody pull over and go in there
No, they did
yesterday. It's like, come on.
I mean, sometimes you gotta go.
Yeah, I guess so.
When I had the portage on at the bottom of Sherwood Hill, when we were doing Welfare Road, I put a padlock on it. It was only for us.
We zip
Thank you,
tie 'em
Mike.
at the fireworks, and they cut the zip ties
Did they really?
and used them.
Thanks, Mike. So that was a lengthy supervisor's report. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to set public hearings date. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 PM unless otherwise noted. Thursday, July 10th, 2025, Thursday, July 24th, 2025.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one resolution tonight. It's a performance bond for Southeast Animal Hospital. Now therefore be it resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below to be constructed on the subject premise. Project name, Southeast Animal Hospital. Bond amount, site improvements, $134,000. Erosion and sediment control, $11,000. And be it further resolved that no building permit shall issue until the appropriate security and fees have been paid. And be it resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any new business? If we have any new business, my brain might pop. I'm just kidding. Is there any new business? No? Okay. With that, I could open it up for anyone from the public that would like to come and share. We miss you. Come on, man.
This meeting's almost as long as the school board meeting.
No way.
Until the first meeting we have on the cell phone policy.
Oh, yeah. That should be a fun night, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we already started
There's no
preliminary
service
talks
there
on that. Yeah, we'll just turn it off. It doesn't work in the building anyway. Scott Seaman, Town of Southeast.
Gee, Scott.
Here, just a note from the school board. We had our graduations, everything's going well, and it's been a while since I've been out here, a lot of stuff going on. So first, I wanted to thank the community for the support of the school budget that we had passed last month. We thank them for their support and for what they're doing with the plans, the progress at the school. As we know, the security vestibule is now open. The track, the preliminary piece of the track has been poured, and the next week, weather pending, they're gonna pour the actual part of the track. And we're hoping to have the track open in the middle to the end of July. So it's coming through, it's very short time left. The construction on the cafetorium behind CP Star is well underway with the foundations being poured, and that should start to work really now that schools are closing, it should start to bang. The sports, I'll say it again, the sports shed, they yell at me, but that's what I call it, is gonna be breaking the foundation and pouring the foundation soon, so that is a progress. And we're looking at the next year and a half, there'll be steady progress at both schools that we'll have to work into our schedule.
Scott, when's the cafetorium supposed to be done, like next summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
No,
You
go
wanna
ahead.
go for, because I have a bad memory. You have to let me go first. The new track looks amazing. The field looks phenomenal, but I do have a question.
Please don't
Those-
ask about the footballs.
I am. Do they flip?
They're turned that way just because they're doing construction on it.
Okay.
Once they're done, they will be put in the right way.
Because we drove by, we were like, those aren't right, but
Yeah.
I knew there
No,
had
in
to be a
Brewster, we
reason.
want those extra yards because that's how good our kickers are.
No, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
A lot
but
of
that will
people in the
be,
community
that
were
just,
also
because now when they do the pouring and we do the asphalt
To
piece,
get, that makes sense.
they would hit it.
Yeah, no, it looks
Yeah.
phenomenal, and the kids are really excited.
And if you notice, the big pile of dirt is getting smaller, so that
Yes,
is
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, no, it really looks
We won't
good.
have to mow it anymore.
The last time I talked to Michelle, she says, please don't ask about the goalpost.
I
says,
know. I know.
I'm good, I don't.
That seems to be a,
It's on Facebook,
we get Moses all the time,
Oh,
and
I
I'm like,
didn't see anything.
and I refuse to go on to comment people, because I
Yes,
just know
yes.
they're gonna argue with me, so I just read their notes.
My other question is the track.
Yes.
Is it the, I guess, spongy porous?
Yes, it's a regular thing. First you pour the asphalt piece,
Yeah.
which we've poured, and then next you'll pour the actual form fitting, which is the spongy material.
Yes, okay.
You know, and we did make a change recently where there's gonna be altered sections and timing space for the handoffs for the kids, so this is gonna be a top of the line, track meet. We'll be able to hold track meets. Everything will be done there. We won't no longer have to hold things at other places, because we're not having the availability to do it. We'll be able to do everything on site. If I can comment on the 121, on Route 21, you know, we have been speaking about it, and I know Mary Smith brings it up many times, and I could not make it to the Putnam County Traffic Safety Bureau, but it is a nightmare when it comes to school buses. So anything, and I don't like talking for the school, but in this case I will, anything that we can do to promote that, I'll be more than happy to continually bring up. The first time a school bus gets T-boned, that's gonna be the story. And that's gonna be one accident, but it's gonna be, 20, 30 kids. And buses won't even go in that area because that is a potential. And the state can say whatever they want. But it will happen if something happens in the direction of the buses, and as the other roads get changed up, it gets more and more likely. And the increased traffic on the roads running parallel to 84, as we know, are getting worse and worse. So our kids are on those roads every day. So anything that, can be done from our perspective.
As soon as I get my foil back, I'll share it with Mrs. Smith, and
Right.
maybe we just start emailing.
Right.
If the traffic study's expired, they have to do the
Right.
traffic study.
Right.
So I think that's a good starting point.
Right, and I'm sure, there'll be more than enough parents or community members. Like I said, I heard about the resolution going out there, maybe something, extremely professional, because I've seen that in other sections of the road. While we want to strengthen and really position we have to be professional about it.
Yeah.
The state's difficult enough to deal with on a good day.
Yeah.
So is anything that can be done from that perspective? And on a side note, I was up in Patterson yesterday, and they're working on a traffic at the top of 311, I guess towards the highway, where they're putting up traffic lights. Those posts are over 9 months delayed. It's,
Wow.
they're working, I guess some of the ARPA money in that part of the town, that's what they were doing. They were working on that side. But that's been overly, so no matter what gets done,
They're
I would
not-
not expect it to be
They're
done.
not putting up lights, but the poles are 9 months out.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
But that's just, welcome to New York State. And of course, we would like to thank the town for all the work on behalf of our students. If there's anything we can do, please let us know. I hope everyone enjoys their summer. We'll be in here towards the end of the summer to remind everybody that our buses will be back on the roads, and please look out for our children. And, thank you for your work.
Thanks,
Thank
Scott.
you.
Thanks,
Same
Scott.
to you.
Have a great weekend. Anyone else from the public? Anyone from the town board? All right, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.